Hi there. Welcome to my views and news. Thanks for joining the live chat session. Three new stories in this live chat, which I'll speak on. Let me welcome the participants who have joined the live chat so far. Then a summary of three topics. Klaus New, always the first one. How are you, Klaus New? Secondly, we have Hope for Ethiopia, a new member. Greetings, Sajid. He says, thanks for your daily updates. Hope for Ethiopia became a member, I think, 2 to 3 days ago. So, welcome to the members community, Hope for Ethiopia. Nathanael Teklemariam says hello. Kinfe Tisfaye says hi. Nahom Asifa says, Klaus New always on top. Yeah, he's always on top. Nahome is saying good afternoon to everyone. Burjusyam is saying good evening. So people in different parts of the world join the live chat. Some saying good evening, others saying good afternoon, some saying good morning. That is the beauty of my views and news that people from across the world watch the channel. People from different countries, different background, different ethnicities are here. Matrix Online says, good evening, friends, London. So he's from London. Ali Raya says, Sajid, Jacob Jericho is calling me yummy. Uh, Short Cretian Pilework says, hello, Sajid. Abraham Ticola says hi. Mesfan Kibro says hi. Tariko Varkane says hi. Three main topics in this live chat. The first one is about Ethiopian ambassador to Kenya. His name is General Bacha Debele. He was a key figure during 2 year long war in northern Ethiopia. Later, he was discharged from the military and appointed as ambassador to Kenya. Yesterday, Ethiopian foreign minister spoke about access to sea, and today Bacha Debele spoke. What did he say? The logic he used to prove that Ethiopia should be given access to sea is a little uh, controversial, I would say. Secondly, Christian Tadele, a member of parliament of House of People's Representatives, has been in prison for several months since last year. And reportedly on Thursday, his immunity could be revoked. And thirdly, former Somalia's president Abdullahi Farmajo is back in Somalia. It seems that he's going to give a tough time to Hassan Sheikh government. It seems. My life says, Sajid, maybe I missed it before, but you never stated that Bacha Debele and Baranjula were former POWs. Well, it's not relevant. I mean, if they were POWs, uh, what does it mean in terms of its significance today? We don't talk about what happened decades ago or years ago. Bacha, during 2 year long war, was a top man. And some critics of Bacha and Baranjula mentioned this point that they were POWs. They were POWs. Question is, what is their position now? What are they doing today? That is what we report. Yemaskan joined too. Hello, Sajid. How are you, my friend? I'm fine. Yemaskan, how are you? Let me begin with my life says only in Ethiopia you get promoted if you were prisoner of war. Well, if you are captured by your rival, Sometimes it takes courage to remain imprisoned, to remain in the custody of your enemy, and then be released. Being a PW isn't a shame for anyone, I think. Rather, these PWs fight for survival. To be captured by the other party, it can happen to anyone, I think, in a war. GHDE. Abe Kareo. Hello, Sajid. You look good. Yeah, I'm fine. Johannes joined too. He says, hi, Sajid. How are you, Johannes? Let me begin, viewers. Bacha Debele, Ethiopian ambassador to Kenya, spoke today. Yesterday, Tadele Selassie, the foreign minister, spoke and he said that the access to sea is a matter of national security for Ethiopia. He said no foreign pressure will be tolerated. No one can dictate Ethiopia. Ethiopia will gain access to sea. And importantly, he criticized internal dispute between Somalia and Somaliland. He said that other countries' internal burden cannot be taken by Ethiopia. Ethiopia needs access to sea. Darni says Mr. Sadiq is ignoring me because I challenged his reporting on the youth held by fun. I don't ignore anyone. Come on. Why would I ignore you? And I think I have been sharing with you updates about the youths held by Fano fighters. Uh, so yesterday it was the foreign minister, and today the ambassador, Ethiopian ambassador to Kenya, spoke. Bacha Debele resorted to a logic to prove that Ethiopia must have access to sea. He said that Ethiopia has a large population, 120, 30 million people. And if Ethiopia does not have access to sea, the people, the youths will flee the country. So refugees from Ethiopia will flood neighboring countries. They'll flood Europe too. And neighboring countries, other countries, European countries could be in trouble. And if these refugees cannot find employment in other countries, they can turn to crime as well. So it could be problematic for Yini Musica joined to another member, Yini and Yamaskan are two members who have joined today. So that is why it is in the interest of neighboring countries to give access to Ethiopia to the sea. The logic is a bit strange for me. It means that any country can resort to this logic to blackmail neighboring countries. If Ethiopia has large population, Ethiopia should know how to control the population, how to feed, how to give jobs to the people of Ethiopia. It's the responsibility of Ethiopian government, not the responsibility of neighboring countries. You cannot blackmail neighboring countries. Secondly, he mentioned Europe. He presented Europe as a case, an example that EU countries have formed European Union. So same can happen here too. Integration, regional integration is key to prosperity. This is the logic being used by an Ethiopian ambassador to a neighboring country, Kenya. Logic for me is not convincing. I think this is not how diplomats should convince others about their point of view. Ethiopia can have access to sea only if its offer to a neighboring country is attractive. If Ethiopia has something to offer to a neighboring country will give access to Ethiopia to sea. Otherwise, no one is going to be blackmailed by your huge population. EU, yes, gives money to countries like Turkey to stop refugees from crossing into the European Union. Why? Because there are some strict laws in Europe, in America too, that if refugees enter there, obviously then it's difficult to expel them. In Africa, anything can happen. If refugees enter neighboring countries, they can be expelled. So laws protecting refugees are not observed strictly in Africa. I don't think Lily had a joint as a member. Welcome, Lily. Uh, Three members joined today so far: Lily, Yamaskan, and Yeni Musica. So, if Ethiopia has something to offer to a neighboring country will consider Ethiopian case for access to sea. Alam is the fourth one who joined. Welcome, Alam. Four members joined today. Bacha should learn how to be diplomatic. He's not serving journal now. He is a diplomat. Diplomats know how to say what they want to say without uh, making others feel uncomfortable. Maybe he will learn with the passage of a time. But this logic is used by Ethiopian government, Ethiopian officials. They say that since Ethiopia has large population, it has the right to gain access to sea. This right cannot be seized by force. It can be negotiated. Negotiation is the solution. Ethiopia should be ready to give something in return for access to sea. That is the way forward. Otherwise, I don't think Kenya would be concerned, or Somalia or Somaliland, that Ethiopia has a large population. GHD says he's responding to comment from my life that how did they manage to have a great economy under malice while still Ethiopia was landlocked? Ethiopia is still landlocked. So why is that now Ethiopia cannot progress economically? It's still landlocked. Why is Ethiopia blaming the slow economic growth on having no port? Yes, this point is very valid. But I think if you want to plan something for coming decades, obviously Ethiopia should have guarantee. It should have security that it will have access to sea. It will have access to a port, maybe in more than one countries. So yes, Ethiopia should broaden its use of ports, but not through blackmail, but through negotiations. Amra Media, fifth member who joined today, he says, if Ethiopia want to use force to get Assab or other sea access, what happened? Nothing will happen. I mean, you cannot gain access to a port by force. If Ethiopia captures Assab by force, how will it use Assab? I mean, Eritrea will make it difficult for Ethiopia to use Assab port. Gaining access to port by force is one thing, and then to be able to use it is another. So force is not an option, I think. Only intimidation, uh, maybe Ethiopia has resorted to intimidation, but if Ethiopia thinks it can use force to gain access to sea, it won't work, I think. It will lead to instability, regional instability. My life is suggesting Ethiopia should control its population. Yeah, that is what other countries will tell Ethiopia. Jacob Jericho is talking about Zelensky and Wagner fighting in Sudan. Can it spill to Amhara or affect anything around since Abiy seems to support? Well, I think that I did a video. I mentioned what is happening in Sudan in last night's live chat. Tables seem to be turning in Sudan. Sudanese military is back in Darman. Clashes ongoing in Al Fasher too in Darfur too. RSF was pushing towards Ethiopian border, Eritrean border. Now they are defending, fighting in Khartoum too. Whether there is Wagner or not to support rapid support forces, Sudanese military is on the offensive now. It is supported by combat drones, countries supporting Sudanese military, and that is why Sudanese military is back as a player. It seemed as if it was down and out a few weeks ago. But things are changing. That is, the military refused to agree to a ceasefire during Ramadan. RSF agreed to a ceasefire during Ramadan, so the military refused. Military is hoping to clear parts of Khartoum Bari in coming days. Will it spill into Ethiopia? Well, there were fears that war could spill into Ethiopia because RSF was pushing into Blue Nile state, Al Jazeera state, towards Ethiopian border, towards Gedaref. In Gedaref, Sudanese groups were being trained. But military has managed to take the war back to Darman, Khartoum, Bahri. So now there is no immediate danger of the war spilling into Ethiopian territory. Secondly, viewers, another MP's immunity will be put to vote at the parliament on Thursday. Several MPs have been arrested since the start of imposition of state of emergency in the Amhara region last year. Christian Tadele was arrested. Uh, uh, was arrested too. When we know that Kasat Shagar was arrested. Dandia was voting peasant too. Johannes Puyale was arrested too. Members of parliament, whether regional or federal, they have immunity. So, in order to file charges against them, you need to lift the immunity. Immunity can only be lifted by the council of which the MP is a member of. And within the past few weeks, we have seen the immunity is revoked of several MPs. In Oromia, Tadendia's immunity was revoked by Oromia Regional Council. Dozens abstained from voting, but majority supported the move to revoke his immunity. In Addis Ababa, Kasat Shagar's immunity was revoked by Addis Ababa City Council. In Amhara region, Johannes Buyale's immunity was revoked around 2 weeks ago by Amhara Regional Council. Now, it seems that in coming hours, Ethiopian House of People's Representatives will vote to revoke the immunity of a member. Member's name is Christian Tadele. He is a member, an MP, and a leader of NAMA, National Movement of Amharas, a political party from the Amhara region, which ran as an opposition party, but it is now part of the government. Its leader is a minister. But people like Desalegn Chani and Christian Tadale, MPs, they have been criticizing the government and they were accused by the government of working in collaboration with extremist elements in the Amhara region, Fano fighters. Desalegn Chani was arrested after the incidents which happened in Miravi a few weeks ago when people were killed during house-to-house search operation by military. Immediately after that, Desalegn Chani was arrested. Kishan Tadele was arrested several months ago. He's from Gujam too. Let's see what will happen in the parliament on Thursday. That remains to be seen. Obviously, House of Representatives will revoke Tadele's immunity. But let's see how many vote to revoke the immunity. How many abstain from voting? How many say no? That we'll see in coming hours. Since immunities are being revoked by Addis Ababa City Council, Amhara Regional Council, Home Regional Council, and now House of Representatives, it means that still PMRB, PMRB's government has control on the regions. It's not that the government is slipping out of the hand of the prime minister. No, he's in command, he's in control. That is why those who are seen as pro Fano or the MPs, their immunity is being revoked. Voting is held, and the people support the revocation of the immunity. Well, the messages are not refreshing. So can you hear me, viewers? I think the chat is frozen. Can you hear me, viewers? Yeah, chat is frozen. Something wrong with the chat. Let me uh, speak a little about the last topic, which is about the former president of Somalia. His name is Abdullahi Farmajo. Farmajo, when 2 years ago lost election and Hassan Sheikh became the president, left Somalia. Since then, he has been in the Middle East. Mostly, he stayed in Turkey and Qatar. He's back. And now, when he's back, it seems that he's going to give a tough time to Hassan Sheikh's government. Today, he spoke. And Farmajo opposed some proposed constitutional amendments, which Hassan Sheikh government wants the parliament to approve. He criticized Hassan Sheikh government. It means that Farmajo is back. He is going to give a tough time as opposition leader to Hassan Sheikh government. Let's see how far will he go. Will he get support from regional uh, leaders, regional states? That we'll see. But maybe he believes that Hassan Sheikh government is weak now, and this is the time to form a joint opposition. That is why he's back in Somalia. Secondly, Al-Shabaab is retaking control of territories which Somalia's forces captured in the past few months. By the way, whenever a new government takes office in Somalia, we see start of military offensives against Al-Shabaab. When a few months pass, the offensive loses pace and direction. That is what happened when Abdullah Farmajo came to power in the first few months of his tenure. Operation was launched against Al Shabaab. Some results achieved later. The operation lost momentum. Same seems to be happening now as well. That Hassan Sheikh, when he took office, he announced the start of major operation against Al Shabaab. Yes, Somalia's forces clear territories in several regional states. But now tables seem to be turning. Al Shabaab last night set fire to a Somali National Army military base close to Mogadishu. It happened in Middle Shabelle, where a military's base was set on fire. In some other states too, Al Shabaab has retaken control of some towns which were captured by military a few months ago. Military unable to consolidate its gains. Why is Hassan Sheikh government not focused on the operation against Al Shabaab? Hassan Sheikh government alone cannot defeat Al Shabaab. It must have regional international support. It must have a strong army, strong intelligence agency, and for that it will need years to establish its security institutions. Regionally, we're seeing that Ethiopia, Somalia, not on good terms these days. Kenya is seen with suspicion too by Somalia. US obviously is part of the operation against Al Shabaab, but US is only involved to the extent of conducting airstrikes, drone strikes. Somalia, in the process of rebuilding its air force, navy, and ground forces. So maybe that is why the operation has lost the momentum, and Al Shabaab is taking advantage of the situation. Because 28 minutes have passed, I think the chat is frozen. Something wrong with the chat. That is why I'll have to end this live chat. Uh, it's not refreshing. I'm trying to refresh the chat, but I cannot see your messages. Yeah, now I'm getting your messages. Abu Mangisha here too. Sajid, you look really tired. No, I'm not. I'm not tired. I'm just fasting, so maybe that is why. Just recovered from a surgery, now I have to fast, so maybe that is why. I'm not tired. Moni joined too after some time. I think he has managed to get out of Ethiopia safely. Now I can read your messages. Korkor says no, 90% still at the hands of RSF. Not Darman, at least. I think in Darman, rapid support forces have they have been pushed out of most parts of Darman. Teddy fan says, how do you think Ethiopia will ever have any PM from Tigray? Don't know about the future, but right now, obviously, I don't see a prime minister from Tigray in Addis Ababa. Hikim Tafira joined to Teddy Verko here, Ilyas Milkias. Darni says Mooney was reported missing on this channel. I think he was busy when he was in Ethiopia. Ira joined too. Started this high. No, I'm not Mooney. Sajid, we should do GoFundMe for people in need, especially for Tigray. Yeah, I agree that people should support uh, the people in Tigray, whether through GoFundMe or through other ways. Tigray people should be supported. I don't go for these GoFundMe campaigns because these campaigns become controversial. I think you must have the entire plan ready about how the money will be delivered, how it will be spent. Then you should start the GoFundMe campaign. Otherwise, the money which you will raise will become a responsibility for you. How will you spend it? How will you ensure it reaches the people who are really in need? You need to have an entire team who should ensure the member should ensure that the money reaches those who are in need, who are really the ones who deserve. I don't have this type of setup in Tigray. That is why I think I should not raise money until I have the team there, which can ensure that people get what they need. Teddy fan, Sajid, you think Ethiopians care if Eritrea is in Tigray or not? Well, you shouldn't say Ethiopian. You should say Ethiopian government. Obviously, those in southern Ethiopia are more preoccupied with their own issues. But it's the government's responsibility. It's Ethiopian military responsibility, ENDF responsibility to protect Ethiopian borders. Either government should say that there is no Eritrean military in Ethiopia, or it should ensure that that country's borders are protected. But government is silent. Muni Muni says Skandar is under house arrest in Shoa. Well, these rumors have been going around for some time that Skandar under house arrest, but he keeps on appearing. I think he has been seen in Gujam, Shoa, Wallo in the past few weeks. Uh, Difficult to say where he is. David said, please, Ethiopians do not immigrate to Eritrea. Your chance will be just as awful as Eritreans. Who is immigrating to Eritrea, by the way? No one from Ethiopia is going to Eritrea, I think. Kaliab says, can you explain what would Fano ask if they ever make it to the negotiating table? Yeah, it's a very relevant question. What are Fano's real demands? Do they have some real demands? They have some real demands, but their demands maybe are not very realistic. They want to remove the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. They want to remove the government. They want a new government. And they want to reach Addis Ababa. They want Addis Ababa to be under their control. Maybe they want to have some zones to be part of Amhara as well. But I think they should come up with a joint agenda. What is their manifesto? Joint manifesto of all Fano groups. But on one point they agree. They want to remove the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. They want to remove this government. So what this is one point on which they agree, and they say it publicly. Peace and love joined to another member. Happy to see Muni Muni. Peace and love. Kira says Fanos don't even want to negotiate with PM Abiy. Yeah, you're right. But TDF did not want to negotiate with Abiy. If you remember their statements, they said there was no one to talk to, no one between them and Addis Ababa. And later we saw talks did happen. I think one point which I want to make is that US is emerging as a key player in Ethiopia now. I don't know about the past, but now US is a key player. Now, you know that it was the US which convinced TPLF to talk to federal government. It gave guarantee, assurance to TPLF leaders. It took TPLF negotiators from Makale to Tanzania to Kenya. US is another, then US playing a role in talks between Ola and government too. US representatives were there in Tanzania when talks were held, 2 rounds of talks between Ola and government. And now US is trying to be relevant in Amhara as well. In Addis Ababa, just yesterday, a consultation forum was held, organized by USAID and Ethiopian Institute for Peace. So a lot depends upon the US. How does it want the conflict in Amhara to end? It wants the government to talk. Government is not showing flexibility. Government is only issuing statements. Maybe if government shows flexibility, we could see contacts between US diplomats and foreign groups. What's new about Somalia? Malin says, I talked about Farmajo, I talked about Al-Shabaab, which seems to be on the offensive, retaking control of territories from Somalia's military. Kaliyab says, Sajid, so how can they negotiate with someone who want to remove? Well, Abiy wants to crush Fano too. So both are after each other. It does not mean that they cannot talk. Angeshom says, you usually neglect my questions, Mr. PFDJ. Oh, he's calling me PFDJ. Today I have to adjust Sajid to 4 times faster speed. Fitsum Jimane says, do you think Abiy fits for his position PM? What do you think about the former Prime Minister, Haile Mariam Desalegn? Was he suitable for the position of Ethiopian PM? I think behind Desalegn was EPRD. Behind Abiy, there is an entire party. Abiy is not just one man who is in charge of the country, there is a party behind him, Prosperity Party, politicians from Amhara, Oromia, military establishment. David Jigna says Haile Mariam was a dummy. Ahmed Saeed joined too. 42 minutes have passed. I think we should end this live chat, viewers. It was good to be with you. One last point which I want to make is that uh, the situation in the Horn of Africa is unfolding very rapidly. No one imagined a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago that Ethiopia and Somalia would be on bad terms. No one imagined last year. No one imagined last year that Isaias would refuse to meet with Abiy. No one imagined in 2020 that TDF would agree to dismantling of Tigray Defense Force. So things are happening very fast in the Horn of Africa. Thank you, Yamaskan. But things are not happening in the right direction. People say, sir, you're pessimistic about the Horn, about Ethiopia, about Eritrea. I don't see a ray of hope for a better future for the Horn, for Ethiopia, for Eritrea. We were hoping that maybe after Pretoria, Eritrea would put an end to the Sawa conscription. Youths won't be forced to join the military training, and Eritrea would not force youths to study at the Sawa camp and undergo training as well. Nothing changed. In Ethiopia, no new jobs, no new projects, youths dying, joining Fano, Ola, or security forces. In Somalia, as I said earlier, operation against Al Shabaab losing momentum. Somaliland, you see what is happening there, political instability, election delayed, and now Somalia, Somaliland confronting each other. Sudan, fractured country now, rapid support forces, military fighting in the capital, Khartoum. No one knows what is the future of this country. So this is what Horn is, a totally destabilized region, volatile situation in the Horn of Africa. 2024, as I said earlier, is going to be very challenging for the Horn of Africa. Thank you for watching this live chat session. Good to be with you. It was good to be with you. Thanks for asking questions and being part of this wonderful session. See you tomorrow. Stay blessed. Bye bye.